So you're pregnant, and you're probably doing everything you've been told to do, right? You're taking that prenatal every single day, you're trying to eat the leafy greens, the red meat, you're doing all the right things, so why are you still exhausted in a way that just feels, well, fundamentally wrong? Okay, let's get into this, because what you're feeling is so real, it's measurable, and spoiler alert, it is not your fault.
It's this crazy paradox, isn't it? You're following all the rules, checking all the boxes, but that crushing fatigue, that brain fog, feeling out of breath just walking up the stairs, it just won't go away. And these things are so often just brushed off as, oh, that's just part of being pregnant. But what if it's not? What if it's actually a sign that the standard advice is failing you?
Here is the number that changes absolutely everything: 77%. 77% of pregnant women are iron deficient by the time they give birth. Let me say that again. That's more than 3 out of every 4. We're not talking about some fringe issue here. This is the norm. It means your personal struggle is actually part of a massive systemic problem.
So if it's not you, what in the world is going on? Well, the answer is in the numbers. It all comes down to the basic math of what your body needs to build a baby, and what your prenatal vitamin can actually give you. So let's break down this hidden accounting of pregnancy iron.
This right here is the magic number. Over the course of your pregnancy, your body needs to come up with about 1,000 extra milligrams of iron. That's on top of your normal needs. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is a massive amount of iron to source in just 9 months. So, where does it all go?
Well, this chart really lays it out. About half of it, a full 500 milligrams, goes into expanding your own blood volume, which increases by about 50%. Then your baby acts like a little iron magnet, pulling about 350 milligrams for its own development. And here's the thing, your baby will take that iron no matter how low your own levels get. Then you add in the placenta, what's lost at delivery, and you can see how that 1,000 milligram debt adds up really, really fast.
Okay, so your body needs 1,000 milligrams, and you're probably thinking, well, my prenatal has iron in it, so I should be covered, right? And honestly, that's what we're all led to believe. But this is the exact spot where the advice we're given completely falls apart, because the number on the label is not the number your body actually gets.
Now just look at this slide. This is honestly shocking. Your typical prenatal will say it has 27 milligrams of iron, and that sounds like a good amount. But in reality, your body only absorbs less than 1.5 milligrams. Less than 1.5. The rest of it just passes right through you, and usually causes a lot of not-so-fun digestive issues on the way out.
So here's the core of the problem. It's the form of the iron. Most prenatals use this synthetic iron called ferrous sulfate, and our bodies are just terrible at absorbing it. With a real-world absorption rate of only 3 to 5%, the math just doesn't work. You cannot fill a 1,000 milligram hole with less than 1.5 milligrams a day. It is literally impossible. And this whole problem gets even worse because of some really, really unfortunate biological timing. The system's almost perfectly designed to set you up for a deficiency, right when you need that iron the most.
I mean, just look at this timeline. The first trimester, especially weeks 6 through 12, is a total biological collision course. This is exactly when your body's demand for iron starts to seriously ramp up for the baby and the placenta. It is also, as you probably know all too well, exactly when morning sickness is at its absolute peak. And that synthetic iron, it's famous for making nausea even worse. So what happens? We get the compliance collapse. Women have to stop taking their prenatal because it's making them sick, right at the moment they need it the most.
So you might be thinking, okay, why not just take more of it? But that's the trap. Taking a bigger dose of the wrong form of iron just makes the nausea and the constipation even worse. Plus, your body has a limit on how much it can absorb at one time, so doubling the dose doesn't come close to doubling the absorption. You have to hear this. The problem is not the dose. It's the form of the iron.
So the solution isn't about trying to force more of something into your body that it's clearly rejecting. It's about switching to a different form of iron entirely. One that's gentle, one that your body actually recognizes and can absorb easily, one that works with your biology, not against it.
Part of this smarter approach is making sure you have the right information in the first place. You can't fix a problem you can't see. And believe me, the standard prenatal tests often miss the real picture until it's way too late. Okay, so standard care typically just checks your hemoglobin. But here's the secret. Hemoglobin is the last thing to drop. By the time your hemoglobin is low, your iron stores have already been running on empty for weeks, maybe even months. The test you actually need is for ferritin. Think of ferritin as your body's iron savings account. It's the early warning system that tells you when your reserves are getting low long before you become officially anemic.
So, I want to give you the exact words to use with your doctor or midwife. This is your script. Be direct, be proactive, asking for your ferritin and your CRP, which is important because inflammation in pregnancy can make your ferritin look falsely high, is how you take control of your own health data.
And you don't just want it checked once at the beginning. A smarter schedule means you're tracking your iron stores throughout the whole pregnancy. You get a baseline in the first trimester, you check again around 20 weeks, and then one more time in the third trimester, which is when the baby's iron demand is at its absolute highest. This way, you can actually fix the problem before you're running on fumes.
And this is so important. This isn't just about feeling better during pregnancy. The amount of iron you have in your tank when you go into labor has a huge impact on your recovery and your entire postpartum experience.
Just take a look at these numbers. Delivery always involves significant blood loss, and that means significant iron loss. A C-section can cost you up to 500 milligrams of iron in just one go. Now, if you're already going into that with low stores, this final withdrawal can push you straight into severe postpartum anemia.
And this statistic right here should be a wake-up call. Women who go into labor with low iron are 4 times more likely to develop postpartum anemia. 4 times. That's not a small difference. It can be the difference between a recovery that feels manageable and one that's an uphill battle against exhaustion, brain fog, and even a higher risk of postpartum depression.
So what does a better approach actually look like? Well, it starts with finding a form of iron your body can actually use. That usually means a gentle, animal-sourced iron that's super absorbable and doesn't have those awful side effects. The best supplements, like the example you see here, also pair that high-quality iron with the active forms of B12 and folate, 2 other absolutely critical nutrients for you and your baby.
And look, the results of finding the right iron can be life-changing. This isn't just theory. Take Sierra's story. She started her pregnancy with a ferritin level of just 9. That is severely depleted. But by switching to a more absorbable form, she built her stores up to a healthy range while she was pregnant, which just goes to show you what's possible when your body can finally use the iron you're giving it.
And the same thing goes for postpartum recovery. Jen's story here really highlights the key benefit. She was able to quadruple her ferritin levels in just 3 months. But the most important part of her story is that little phrase at the end, with no nausea. That's the whole game. It means she could take it every single day and actually truly recover.
You know, for anyone who's already tried the standard iron and is still feeling completely wiped out, the idea of trying something new can feel daunting. That's why it's so important that you're not taking a risk. You should look for a 90-day guarantee. That's a full trimester. It gives you a real window to see if a better form of iron can make a real difference, with 0 risk to you.
So let's just end on this thought. You have been trying hard enough. You've been doing everything you were told to do. What if the solution isn't about more effort or more willpower? What if the solution is just simpler? What if it's about finally using a form of iron your body was designed to absorb all along?